everybody, and welcome back to AI for the People. We are diving into a hot topic today, AI in education.
Yeah.
You know, all those new AI tools that are popping up for personalized learning.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much every major education platform is rolling these things out, and everybody's talking about it. But, us,
Right.
here at AI for the People, we always want to make sure we're looking at all sides of the story.
Yeah.
So the big question we're tackling today is, will this AI-powered education actually benefit all students equally,
Mm-hmm.
or could it actually make existing inequalities even worse?
Yeah. It's the big question right now. I mean, it's generating a ton of debate, and for good reason, because on the one hand, you've got this like incredible potential for AI to really personalize that learning experience,
Yeah,
help every student learn at their own pace and in a way that, actually works for them.
exactly. And our friends over at AI Debates, they actually did a whole show on this
Yeah.
recently, and they highlighted some really compelling examples. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine AI helping a student with dyslexia get like that targeted reading support that they need,
Right.
or a visual learner suddenly having access to like tons of interactive diagrams and videos.
And it's not just like anecdotal evidence either. Early studies are already starting to show some pretty promising results.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like some research suggesting that this AI-powered learning can actually lead to measurable improvement in learning outcomes and even boost student engagement.
Right.
Kids are more likely to actually, get excited about learning when it feels like the material is made just for them.
Makes sense, right? It's almost like a dream come true, but
Yeah.
of course it's never quite that simple, is it?
Right. There are some really, really serious concerns about fairness and access.
Yeah.
We can't just ignore. And I think one of the biggest ones is what's often called the digital divide.
Okay, so for our listeners who might not be familiar with that term, could you quickly break down what the digital divide means?
Yeah, so the digital divide, it basically refers to this gap
Mm-hmm.
between people who have access to technology and the internet and those who don't.
Right.
And when you think about education, what this could mean is that schools with more resources, they're going to be way better equipped to actually implement all these fancy new AI tools
Right.
than schools in like under-resourced communities.
And that raises a really, really tough question.
Yeah.
What happens if access to, high-quality AI-powered education, it becomes like a privilege, not a right?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine a world where your zip code actually determines the quality of education you receive and whether or not you even get to benefit from these potentially transformative technologies.
That's the scary part, right?
It is a scary thought, and it's a concern that a lot of people share. Remember that poll that AI Debates ran?
Oh, yeah.
Asking viewers if they thought that AI in education would actually benefit all students equally.
Mm-hmm.
The results were pretty eye-opening. I think it was a whopping 65% of respondents said they believe AI in education would probably widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah, and that's a significant majority. And it really just kind of like highlights how important it is to think critically about how we design and implement these AI systems.
Right.
Like, we really got to make sure we're not accidentally creating a system that, benefits some students at the expense of others.
Absolutely. And it's not even just about who gets access to the technology itself.
Right.
There are also a lot of concerns about the AI algorithms themselves and the data that they're trained on.
Yeah.
Now, we're not saying that AI is inherently biased.
Right. But those algorithms, they're only as good as the data that we feed them, right?
Right.
And if that data reflects existing societal biases, well, guess what? Those biases are going to get baked into the AI systems.
Yeah, and that could lead to some really unfair outcomes for certain groups of students.
And there are also some important questions about data privacy. Like, how is student data going to be collected and stored and used?
Right.
Who's going to have access to it?
Yeah.
These are all things that we really need to be thinking about.
And then there's also that concern about over-reliance on technology.
Sure.
Some people are worried that if we get too dependent on AI in education, it could actually come at the expense of human interaction.
Right. Yeah.
And the development of important social and emotional skills.
Yeah, all valid concerns. But you know what I find really interesting is that different countries are taking like very different approaches to this whole AI in education thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some are going all in on these big centralized AI platforms.
While others are doing something completely different.
Yeah.
Like a more localized approach.
Yeah, focusing on how AI can be, integrated into the classrooms that already exist.
Right.
And be used to support teachers rather than replace them.
Interesting. So it's not just a one-size-fits-all solution?
No, not at all.
Each country Each community really needs to figure out what works best for them, while always keeping in mind equity and access at the
Exactly.
forefront of the conversation.
Absolutely. And that's really what we're all about here at AI for the people you know.
Yeah.
We truly believe that AI has this power to completely revolutionize education, make it so much better, but only if we develop it and implement it in a way that is truly equitable
Yeah.
and benefits every student.
So how do we actually make that happen? How
Yeah.
do we actually ensure that these AI education tools are designed with fairness and inclusivity at the forefront?
Well, I think first we got to address that digital divide. We talk about if we really want every student to have that equal access to AI-powered learning,
Right.
then we got to make sure that every school has the infrastructure.
Right.
They need reliable internet access,
Yeah.
up-to-date devices for every student,
Yeah.
and proper training for teachers so that they know how to use these new tools effectively.
That makes sense, but even if we could wave a magic wand and solve that access issue, there's still the question of how these AI systems are actually designed.
Right.
How do we make sure that the algorithms themselves aren't accidentally perpetuating biases or creating unfair disadvantages for certain groups of students?
And that's where things get really interesting and potentially really complex, because it's not enough to just create an AI system that can deliver personalized lessons.
Right.
We have to be so intentional about the data that's used to train these algorithms.
Right.
Making sure it's truly diverse and representative of all students.
Right, because if the data is skewed, then the AI is going to reflect that.
Totally.
There's garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. And we also got to think about transparency and accountability. How can we make sure that these AI systems are making fair and unbiased decisions?
Yeah.
Can we build in ways to kind of audit these algorithms and figure out if there are any potential biases? These are all active areas of research and development in AI ethics.
It sounds like this isn't just about the technology itself.
Yeah.
It's about having these deeper conversations.
Right.
About ethics.
Yeah.
About equity.
Yeah.
And how we really want AI to shape the future of education.
Absolutely. And those conversations, they need to involve everyone.
Yeah.
Educators, policymakers, parents, students themselves. I mean, we all have a stake in this.
And that's what we're all about here at AI for the People.
Right.
We want to make sure that these conversations are happening and that everyone feels empowered to actually participate.
And one thing that I think often gets lost in all this is the role of teachers.
Yeah.
Some people think that AI is just going to replace teachers altogether.
Right. Like robots going to be running the classrooms.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not really the vision that most experts have.
Okay.
The real potential of AI in education is actually in its ability to support and empower teachers.
I love that.
Not replace them.
It's not about replacing teachers with robots.
Right.
It's about giving teachers better tools to do what they already do best, which is inspire and educate.
I mean, imagine a teacher who has an AI system that can analyze student data.
Right.
Identify which students might be struggling with a particular concept.
Right.
That teacher can then intervene early, provide really personalized support.
Yeah.
Help those students catch up before they fall behind.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So AI isn't about taking over the classroom.
Right.
It's about creating a more personalized and effective learning experience for each student.
Yes.
With teachers as that guiding force.
And that's where things get really exciting, when we start to see AI not as this threat, but as this really powerful tool that can help us build a more equitable and effective education system for everyone.
Okay, so what does all this mean for you, our amazing AI, for the People listeners?
It means we're all a part of this, this incredible journey as AI starts to really reshape the world around us, including how we learn and how we teach.
And it means we need to be having these conversations, asking these tough questions.
Yeah.
And really making sure that, AI in education benefits everyone.
Because the future isn't just something that happens to us,
Right.
We all have a role in shaping it.
Exactly. And that's why we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on AI in education?
Yeah.
Are you excited about all these possibilities, or do you share some of the concerns that we've talked about today?
Yeah. Head over to our social media pages at AI_for the people and let us know your thoughts. Use the hashtag AI Education Divide.
Yeah, let's keep this conversation going, because the more informed we all are, the better decisions we can make together.
Absolutely.
And remember, here at AI, for the people, we believe that AI has the power to really make the world a better place.
Yeah.
but only if we use it wisely
Mm-hmm.
and make sure it benefits all of us.
For the people.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration of AI and its impact on our lives.